the best books ever written that I read in 2021. That's not indicative that these are the greatest books ever written. That's just what I read this year. Anyway, so starting at number 10. Number 10, All Systems Red. Now, this one just squeaked its way onto the top 10 list. It was right there on the cusp, but it's just a good book. It's not, I actually should honestly probably do a full review of this book on the channel, but it's not like anything, how do I explain it? It's not like anything that's going to just blow the roof off of anything. It's not a phenomenal book. I don't know how to explain it. It's just so solidly good. It's short, it's sweet, it's a little novella. What it does just exceptionally well. It's almost like a little character piece. The plot's thin. The characters are thin, other than Murderbot herself. Like I said, it's just so solidly good. It's a good, fun read, start to finish. And you'll read this thing in I don't know, maybe a day. I think it took me 2 or 3. Did it take 3 days? I don't know, but it wasn't long. And that was super leisurely pace. I'm not I'm not saying this is a 3-day read at all. Anyway, but it's very pleasant. I was very pleasantly surprised at the tone and the feel, and it was just a good book in general. Like I said, nothing fantastic, nothing great, but there's really no down to it either. So it's just so solidly good that I was very happy, pleasantly surprised. Here we go with number 9. Flow My Tears, The Policeman Said. Anyone who's a Philip K. Dick fan, anyone who is into that world at all, anyone who's critiquing these books is going to notice that this fell pretty low on the list. If you are into Philip K. Dick, you're probably aware of the fact that this one sits pretty high on the list of best Philip K. Dick books of all time. This is really highly critically regarded. So for it to come in number 9 is pretty low. If you don't know anything about Philip K. Dick or Flow My Tears, The Policeman Said, then you probably think I'm just talking like a crazy person. But it is actually a very critically like this is almost like a critical darling of his, which whatever. I didn't find it to be that. I can't put it on the list of disappointing books because it's a very good book. But it's one of those things in certain instances, and there's going to be another one popping up here that's the exact opposite of this, but it's one of those instances where it's like everybody tells you how good it is and you read it and you're like, well, it was good. I don't think it was that good. So I almost didn't get what is so special about this book. It was good. The chase was fun. The romps were fun. The comedy hit with me pretty hard. There's just some real Philip K. Dick stuff in there that just makes you smile. At least it does me. Hence, he's my second favorite author ever. But I just didn't. It was definitely good. Fantastic book. I just didn't understand all the hype. Anyway, number 8. Where's 8? Leviathan Falls. Yes. Leviathan Falls. I just did a review of this. I kind of raved about how much I liked the ending of it. And pretty much everything I said there still stands. It was a great book. Falls right on my top 10 list of the greatest books I read this year. It was good. Boy, I don't know what else to say about it. Go read it. It was good. It was so happy with that one. I really was. Let me think if there's anything profound I can say. It was just a solid book and most impressive of this one is how satisfactorily it ended a 9-book run. I feel like an ending that solid and sound and just satisfying is hard to come by, at least as well done as that one was. So kudos to that book, and that earns it a spot on the top 10. Immediately following that at number 7 is Leviathan Wakes. The just home run intro book, whatever you want to call it, to the same series, The Expanse. Better book, just a better book all the way around. Actually, I think I gave them the same score, just because the ending was just that good. But this was technically a better book. It really was. Let's be honest. I don't know of anyone that would say anything other than Leviathan Wakes is the best book in the series. If you feel there's a better book in the series, please let me know. But I feel that's pretty, at least in my experience, pretty universal that this is the strongest of the series. It came out swinging. It really did. Anyway, number 6 on my list, I'm going to put Hyperion. Yes, one of the greatest books I read this year is Hyperion. Now, anyone who has seen my Endymion reviews knows that I really this series fell off for me. But that doesn't change the fact that I really loved Hyperion. I couldn't say enough good stuff about Hyperion. It beats out both Leviathan Wakes and both books of The Expanse that made it onto this list. Hyperion's better. It just is. It's so good. Its storytelling is so good. Its format is so good. Its feel is good. When you bounce from one person's story to another person's story, and it goes from journal entries to, the tone shifts. It feels like this person's telling. I loved it. It was great. Such a good book. So unfortunate that the books that came after it could not quite live up to the grandeur that was Hyperion. But that doesn't change the fact that Hyperion really was a good book. Anyway, we're in the top 5 here. Now we get to have some fun. We have the 3 Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch. Now, here's another one, Philip K. Dick, that gets a lot of praise. And this one I felt was much more rightfully so. Not because the other one almost feels like when people praise it, they always act like it has something profound to say, and it kind of does. But this one's just a fun romp, just a fun read. You just galloping through this book and there's just so many little layers and so many little nuances, and there's so many that aren't deep or profound. That's not what I'm saying. But there's just so much going on. And, the people, oh God, hold on. Okay, so between the Martian community storyline and the drug salesman storyline and the prophet storyline mixed within alternate dimension storylines, it takes what easily could have been 4 different Philip K. Dick books, which there are actually. When you read it kind of feels like 4 other Philip K. Dick stories. I don't know how to explain it, but it just puts them all together into one, I don't know, 250 page book maybe, and just smashes them together, and it is the most gloriously good time. I don't know how to explain it. Go, if you enjoy Philip K. Dick at all. This one I understand, and it's just because it's just an acid trip, literally, figuratively, everything. Just go read. Yeah. Anyway, if that sounds crazy, it fucking is. And it's fun. Just a blast to read. Number 4, Neuromancer. Oh my God, Neuromancer. Now, I made another video. I did an actual full discussion on Neuromancer, and I did complain a bit on Neuromancer. I think I said it was something along the lines of you'll be reading a paragraph and then just halfway through the paragraph, you're somewhere else. Oh, now we're on the space station. Or, it's just, it bounces so much and so fast, and it was so dense, and it was not the best read. It didn't always track the best as you were reading. I didn't like the writing style that much, but holy shit, it is undeniable how amazing this book was. The thoughts and the ideas and everything in this book was so just next level, revolutionary. It would change everything to come in that style, genre. Half of my favorite things in life, I have this to thank for it. So, thank you. William Gibson. Number 3. Dr. Blood Money. Now, here's the exact, when I said earlier that there would be the exact opposite, this is the exact opposite. When I hear people talk about the best Philip K. Dick stories ever written, never do I hear them bring up Dr. Blood Money, ever. You hear, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, Ubik, The Three Stigmata, Palmer Eldritch, Flow My Tears, The Policeman Said. You hear all of this stuff. You never hear anybody bring up Dr. Blood Money. And I'm going to argue that Dr. Blood Money beats both Three Stigmata, Palmer Eldritch, and Flow My Tears, The Policeman Said, which are two of his heavyweights. And I say it did it just almost hands down. It was such a good book. I did attempt to do a video on it. It's not... it's not really a good video. I tried to make sense of this book, and the video itself doesn't really make any sense. So if you want to go attempt to watch it, good luck. But it's like the post-apocalypse of idealistic 1950s society in a very fantastical idea of what nuclear fallout and radiation would do to people and the world, and it's not grounded in reality. It is grounded in fantastic ideas and then viewed through the lens of LSD. Maybe. But it's so compelling and entertaining on a level that is so close to unmatched. Really. And I hope you don't go read this book and think it's trash, because I just made it sound amazing. Anyway. Okay. So we're in the top 3, and that one was just good, pure, unadulterated fun. This is about to get depressing. And I mean real depressing. But anyway, I am a sucker for a good dad story. I like things that also hit real hard and heavy with the emotional beats. If a book can make you feel something, and make you feel it basically to your core, I don't care if it's happiness, fear, dread, sadness, depression, excitement, love, you name it. If that book can inflict that into you, boy, that's a good book. And on top of that, like I said, I'm a real sucker for a dad story. Just these aren't the happy dad stories. Anyway, and number 2, and do not judge me for having just read this book in the year 2021, and I have stated multiple times on this channel that Stephen King is my favorite writer of all time, and I'm just now getting around to this book, Pet Sematary. I finally got around to reading Pet Sematary. I read the Dark Tower series 17 years ago, and I'm just now getting around to reading Pet Sematary. Anyway, number 2 on the list. It's that good. Oh my God. And I think the reason why I kind of put it off is because I knew it. I knew the story back to front, top to bottom. I'd watched all the movies. I knew it. Every spoiler that could have been a spoiler, I knew. It was like, why read something? Oh, let me tell you. Why to read something you already know the story to. Oh my God, it's not the same. Reading this book is an experience. It's something you will carry for a while after you're done with the book. It is dark and depressing and affecting. If you are a parent, like I said, I'm a sucker for a dad story, but if you're a parent, period, this is going to hit you, and it's going to hit you hard. And I've even seen people who aren't parents just talk about the effect of the book and dealing with loss and what it feels like to lose somebody in general. And I absolutely agree with them on their point completely. I mean, anyone can read this and take very much, take a lot away from it. But I argue the closer you are to the actual subject matter, the more it might just kind of punch you right in the teeth. It's just, holy crap. Number 2, easy. Almost number 1. You know, when it comes down to these top 3, any one of these could probably take in the top 1 slot for me. Actually, I kind of went back and forth on a couple of them for a couple of different reasons. But anyway, we're going to go home with number 2 as Pet Sematary. And if you want it to be number 1, just pretend I said it was number 1, because it's good enough to be number 1. And then, of course, I shouldn't say of course, but then the number 1 spot goes to a brand new read for me, brand new author, brand new everything. Cormac McCarthy, The Road. I'm going to have to do a review of this one too, because this one, you want to talk about something affecting. You want to talk about something that will, I guess what I'm saying is if you can make it through this book without crying, you're a monster, and I don't want to know you. And this is another one, kind of like Pet Sematary, in the fact that I won't spoil this book, but I could spoil it for you. I could tell you every single little beat. Oh, well, this is going to happen to him, and this is going to happen to him, and this is how the story is going to end with this dad and his boy, and this is exactly what happens, the final scene of the book. And it wouldn't ruin a thing. You know, this is a book you can spoil the whole story because it's not about the story. This book is an experience. Reading the book is an experience in and of itself. I could have gone in knowing absolutely every beat because the beats aren't necessarily fantastic. The beats aren't necessarily revolutionary. It's a pretty straightforward story. It's pretty normal. It's not exactly, a lot of it's predictable. I'm like, even as I'm like a quarter of the way into the story, I'm like, well, this feels like this, and this should happen because that's kind of the path we're on. And then guess what? This, and this happens. It pretty much everything you expect to happen happens. It's not like you're getting any twists and turns. It's just the experience of reading it. His ability to put you in this situation and make you feel what these people feel, soul crushing. The book will crush your soul. It will. But anyway, it's like I said, it's just such an experience to read this book. Amazing book. So, number 1 book I read in the year 2021, The Road. And that beat out some great Philip K. Dick books. That beat out my boy Stephen King. And, oh boy, arguably one of the best reads ever with Pet Sematary. Seriously. So I'm looking forward to 2022, and I'm also looking forward to the most disappointing books. Wait for it. Thank you for watching.